Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have this 2017 Lincoln MKZ and we're going to do the side door chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before doing the installation on the side trim, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we used our gloss black material, that way we black out the entire side panels. Link for the product will be provided below, but with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So before we start with the installation, we need to make sure we prep the entire panel. So you can use any type of cleaning solution that's safe to use on a vehicle. For this video, I'm using water mixed with baby shampoo. Once you have your cleaning solution, spray it onto a clean microfiber towel and just make sure to start removing all the contaminants that the panel may have. And once you're done cleaning each panel, make sure that everything's completely dry. That way the adhesive on the film is able to tack down to the panel without lifting over time. Okay, so we're going to start with the piece that covers just this section of the side panel. It cuts out here and behind the mirror as well. When you're doing the installation, you'll notice the two cutouts. That's where we'll need to trim off the excess material. So first, place both strips onto the panel and align it right on the edge here. So align it right there. Make sure the chrome is being covered. You can give yourself just a little bit of excess material to just cover this section here, but it doesn't go all the way inside. And now all we need to do is, once this is tacked down, lift the film and align it to the middle section of the panel. And it should go up to the edge here. And the same with this one, lift it and finish it off. So once you place the film, you can start tacking it down with your squeegee. Make sure to remove any air that's underneath the film. And once you finish removing all the air, we're going to apply heat throughout the entire section, especially on the curve. That way the film stays tacked down all around the panel. Okay, once you finish applying heat and making sure the whole film is tacked down, we're going to use our squeegee just to make sure we secure the entire film to the panel. And then all we need to do now is trace out where the excess material is located. That way we can just trim it off and then move on to the next panel. So for the curve, the excess material will be around this area here. Make sure you create an outline with your finger and then carefully trim off the excess material. Just trim it off here and then go around the curve. So just take your time trimming it off. So now that you trimmed off the excess material, don't forget about the material that's on the cutout here and on the bottom. So just find that cutout right in the middle and carefully trim off the excess material. Okay, I'm going to do the same for the bottom piece, and then once you're done trimming, we can move on to the next piece. So for the next installation, which covers the top piece, just align it where we left off here on the edge. So align it right there. You can place the film down. That way you're able to work on this middle section here. So you could overlap the film just a bit or match it up to where you trimmed off the excess material. And once you have it aligned, we're just going to go all around until we reach it here, placing it and then tagging it down. So just lift it carefully and just go all around the film until you reach it to the other end. Make sure you're covering all of the chrome. And that should be it. And once we finish tagging it down, you just grab your squeegee and start tagging down the entire film. Make sure to remove all the air on the film. And with this one, you could open the door and tuck in the material on the top section, but if you still have excess material, you could trim it off. One thing you can do just to help the film tack down faster on the top edge is to apply heat. So just apply heat on the top section. And you can also apply heat on the lower section. But like I mentioned, if you do have excess material, it could get trimmed off. Just make sure you create the outline and then trim it off. create that outline. That way you know where you're going to trim off the excess material. Trim it off. And you would trim off the excess material here and also the one on the edge. And then once you're done, we'll move on to the next piece, which is almost basically the same thing, except there's no tucking in on the top piece here. So for this one, like I mentioned, is the same process as how we did the top. The only difference is there's no tucking in on the top section here. We will just have to trim off the excess material if we have any. So just place the film down right on the edge and start off by placing the film where we left off for the other cutout. So align it right there. You could overlap the film just a bit or meet it exactly where the other one ends. It's personal preference, it's up to you. Lift the film carefully and just use the lower section as the guide in order to align the rest of the film. Grab your squeegee, start tacking down the entire panel. Make sure to remove any bubbles that are trapped behind the film. And the same process is how we did for the top. We're going to tack everything down, then apply heat, then trim off any excess material, then finish it off by applying heat one more time just to seal the edges. And then the same steps that were done for these two, you would repeat it for the rear door. Okay, so now we're moving on to the quarter panel piece. So just place the film to the panel. That way we're able to align this section of the film to this edge of the quarter panel. So align it right on the edge. Make sure the film is covering both the top and the bottom section of the chrome. Once you have it aligned, lift one side carefully and make sure to place it down. And as you're placing it down, you check and see if everything's being covered. So this side is good. This one we just need to move it higher, and you just follow the design. Make sure everything's covered top and bottom, and do the same for the smaller piece. And you may need to readjust the film just a little bit, that way there's no creases happening on the edge here. So it should be like that. And now all we're going to do is grab our squeegee, start removing all the air that's underneath the panel. And once you tack down everything, we're going to apply heat just to help the adhesive on the film activate faster. And then once we're done applying heat, we're going to trim off any excess material. So start from the edge here. If you do have this finger, start from here. Just hold the film, apply heat, and then little by little start tacking it down. So apply a little bit of heat and use your finger to tack it down. That way we don't crease it and accidentally wrinkle the film. So you see, it still looks good. And just continue on applying heat and tagging it down on the curve here. Okay, so the chrome is being covered now, and you would just do the same throughout the rest of the panel. Apply heat, that way we help the film tack down. And like I mentioned, after that, we'll trim off excess material. Okay, trim off the excess material from the edge, right on the corner. Lift the film carefully and remove the excess material. Do the same for the bottom, right on the edge, trim it off. And if you have excess material on top, go ahead and trim it off as well. Just create an outline with your finger, that way you know where exactly you're going to trim. And that's pretty much it. And you would just do the same throughout the rest of the panel. If you have excess material, find that gap and trim it off. So for example here, there's the gap. Carefully insert your blade and just trim off the excess material. And then once we're done trimming all the excess material in this one and applying heat, then we can move on to the last piece, which is the front piece for the front door. So for this last piece, all we need to do is just make sure we align the film to the edge here, and everything else should fall into place. Once we finish placing the film, grab your squeegee and start tacking down the entire panel. And all we need to do is just make sure this whole section does not have any bubbles, and then we could apply heat to help the adhesive on the film activate faster, and then we'll trim off the excess material, and then we're done. So the last thing to do once you finish with the entire installation for the side panel is to post heat the entire section of the film. So just grab your heat gun and go to each section of the panel that was worked on, apply heat, that way we help the adhesive on the film activate faster. And then once you're done with this step, you're done with the installation. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the side Chrome Delete installation for the 2017 Lincoln MKZ. We hope that the video helped you guys out with the installation. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.